Did you know sibling rivalry can lead to real estate sabotage? It's true. Get ready for a story of sisterly competition, hidden agendas, and a house that became the ultimate pawn. Willow, a dedicated teacher, had always dreamed of owning a home with a sprawling garden, a place where she could unwind after a long day of shaping young minds. She envisioned a cozy living room filled with books, a sun, drenched kitchen perfect for baking, and a backyard where she could cultivate her love for gardening. After years of saving and countless hours spent scouring real estate listings, she finally found it, a charming Victorian house nestled in a quiet, tree-lined street. It was perfect, everything she had ever wanted. The house had character, a history etched into its very walls, and a certain undeniable charm that resonated with Willow's soul. She imagined herself spending countless happy years there, creating memories and building a life. But her happiness was short-lived. Her sister, Rose, a high-powered executive with a penchant for the finer things in life, also had her eye on the same property. Rose, always competitive and accustomed to getting what she wanted, saw the house as another trophy to add to her collection. She viewed it as an investment, a status symbol, and a testament to her success. Rose had always been envious of Willow's simple yet fulfilling life, and the thought of her sister owning such a beautiful home was simply unbearable. Rose, with the financial backing of their parents, swooped in and made an offer that Willow simply couldn't match. Willow was devastated, heartbroken to lose her dream home to her sister's relentless ambition. She felt betrayed, not only by Rose, but also by her parents, who had always favored Rose. The dream she had nurtured for so long seemed to crumble before her eyes. The pain of losing the house was compounded by the knowledge that it was her own sister who had snatched it away. However, Willow possessed a secret weapon: knowledge. She knew that the house was located in a historic district, governed by strict regulations regarding renovations and alterations. Rose, blinded by her desire to possess the house, had failed to do her due diligence. She was completely unaware of the restrictions that would severely limit her plans to modernize and improve the property. Willow, on the other hand, had meticulously researched the property and was well aware of the historic district's guidelines. Willow made a calculated decision. She decided to let Rose have the house, knowing that her sister's grandiose plans would soon be thwarted by the historic district's regulations. She watched as Rose gleefully purchased the property, completely oblivious to the impending obstacles. Willow knew that it was a risky gamble, but she was confident that Rose's ignorance would ultimately work in her favor. She bided her time, patiently waiting for Rose's frustration to reach its peak. Rose, eager to transform the Victorian house into a modern masterpiece, immediately began planning extensive renovations. She envisioned knocking down walls, installing state-of the art appliances, and completely revamping the exterior. She hired architects and contractors, ready to unleash her vision upon the unsuspecting property. She wanted to make it her own, to erase its history and replace it with her own modern aesthetic. But Rose's dreams were quickly shattered. The Historic Districts Board vehemently rejected her plans, citing numerous violations of the regulations. They refused to allow her to alter the house's historical character, insisting on preserving its original features. Rose was furious, feeling trapped and defeated. She couldn't understand why she wasn't allowed to do what she wanted with her own property. She saw the regulations as an unnecessary burden, an obstacle to her ambition. Rose's frustration grew with each rejection. She spent countless hours arguing with the board, trying to convince them to approve her plans, but they remained steadfast in their commitment to preserving the historic integrity of the neighborhood. Rose's modern designs clashed with the district's aesthetic, and they were unwilling to compromise. The renovations stalled, and Rose's dream of a modern masterpiece turned into a nightmare. The house remained untouched, a constant reminder of her thwarted ambitions. She began to resent the property, seeing it as a burden rather than an asset. The joy she had initially felt upon purchasing the house quickly evaporated, replaced by anger and disappointment. Willow, seeing Rose's mounting frustration, knew that her plan was working. She waited for the opportune moment to make her move. She approached Rose with a sympathetic ear, pretending to offer her support and understanding. She listened patiently as Rose complained about the historic district's regulations, feigning concern for her sister's predicament. Finally, Willow made her offer. She proposed to buy the house back from Rose at the original price, offering her a way out of her frustrating situation. Rose, desperate to be rid of the property, readily agreed. She saw it as a chance to cut her losses and move on to other ventures. She was relieved to be free of the burden of the house and the endless restrictions that came with it. Willow, overjoyed, purchased the house back from Rose, finally realizing her dream of owning her perfect home. She knew that she had played a risky game, but she was ultimately successful. She had outsmarted her sister and reclaimed the house that was rightfully hers. Willow, now the proud owner of the Victorian house, carefully began renovations, respecting the historic district's regulations. She worked closely with the board, ensuring that her plans were in line with their guidelines. She meticulously restored the house's original features, preserving its historical character while adding her own personal touch. She transformed the garden into a vibrant oasis, filled with colorful flowers and lush greenery. She created a cozy reading nook in the living room, filled with her favorite books. She turned the kitchen into a warm and inviting space, perfect for baking and entertaining. Willow finally had her dream home, a place where she could relax, unwind, and pursue her passions. She had learned a valuable lesson about sibling rivalry and the importance of knowledge. She had also discovered the satisfaction of achieving her goals through patience, strategy, and a little bit of cunning. Rose, on the other hand, learned a harsh lesson about the importance of due diligence and respecting historical regulations. She realized that her ambition had blinded her to the realities of the property. She regretted not listening to Willow's subtle warnings and allowing her competitive nature to get the better of her. The sisters' relationship remained strained for some time. Rose felt humiliated and betrayed by Willow's actions, while Willow struggled with guilt over her deception. However, over time, they began to heal their wounds and rebuild their relationship. They learned to appreciate each other's strengths and accept their differences. Willow's story is a testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of knowledge, and the complexities of sibling relationships. It's a reminder that sometimes the best way to achieve your goals is to be patient, strategic, and a little bit clever. Have you ever felt the sting of sibling rivalry? It can cut deep, especially when it involves something as personal as a dream home. Willow's story is a prime example of how competition can escalate, leading to unexpected and sometimes underhanded tactics. But beneath the surface of this real estate battle lies a deeper exploration of family dynamics, ambition, and the lengths we go to achieve our desires. Willow, the unassuming teacher, represents a grounded approach to life. She values simplicity, hard work, and the quiet joy of creating a comfortable home. Her dream house isn't about status or impressing others. It's about creating a sanctuary for herself, a place where she can nurture her passions and find solace from the demands of her profession. She embodies the idea that true happiness comes from within, not from external validation. Rose, on the other hand, embodies ambition and a desire for external validation. She's driven by success, status, and the need to impress others. Her interest in the house stems from a desire to add another trophy to her collection, a symbol of her achievements. She sees the house as an investment, a reflection of her success, and a way to elevate her social standing. She represents the societal pressure to constantly strive for more, often at the expense of personal fulfillment. The parent's role in this drama highlights the complexities of family dynamics. Their financial support of Rose reinforces the idea that they favor her, contributing to the existing sibling rivalry. This favoritism creates a sense of injustice and resentment in Willow, fueling her desire to reclaim her dream home. It underscores the importance of treating children equally and fostering a sense of fairness within the family. The historic district regulations serve as a crucial plot device, highlighting the importance of knowledge and due diligence. Rose's ignorance of these regulations becomes her downfall, while Willow's awareness becomes her advantage. This emphasizes the idea that information is power, and that thorough research is essential before making any major decisions, especially in real estate. Willow's decision to let Rose buy the house, knowing about the regulations, raises ethical questions. Was it right for her to deceive her sister in order to achieve her own goals? Was it justified to exploit Rose's ignorance for personal gain? This moral ambiguity adds depth to the story, forcing us to consider the complexities of human behavior and the lengths we go to when pursuing our desires. The story also explores the theme of delayed gratification. Willow's patience and strategic thinking ultimately pay off, allowing her to achieve her dream in a roundabout way. She demonstrates that sometimes the best approach is to wait for the opportune moment, rather than rushing into things impulsively. This highlights the importance of planning, foresight, and the ability to see the bigger picture. The strained relationship between the sisters after the real estate battle underscores the lasting impact of sibling rivalry. Betrayal and resentment can create deep wounds that take time to heal. The story suggests that forgiveness and understanding are essential for rebuilding relationships, but it also acknowledges that some wounds may never fully heal. Ultimately, Willow's story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition, the importance of ethical behavior, and the complexities of family dynamics. It reminds us that true happiness comes from within, not from external possessions or achievements. It also emphasizes the importance of knowledge, due diligence, and strategic thinking when pursuing our goals. What would you have done in Willow's situation? Would you have resorted to the same tactics, or would you have taken a different approach? The story raises important questions about morality, ethics, and the lengths we go to when pursuing our dreams. The house itself becomes a symbol of the sisters' rivalry, representing their different values and aspirations. For Willow, it's a symbol of home, comfort, and personal fulfillment. For Rose, it's a symbol of status, success, and external validation. The house becomes a physical manifestation of their competition and their conflicting desires. The story also touches on the theme of environmental preservation. The historic district regulations are in place to protect the historical character of the neighborhood, ensuring that its unique architectural heritage is preserved for future generations. This highlights the importance of balancing progress with preservation and respecting the historical significance of our surroundings. Willow's meticulous restoration of the house reflects her respect for history and her commitment to preserving its original character. She doesn't try to erase the past. Instead, she embraces it, incorporating it into her own vision for the future. This demonstrates a sense of responsibility and a desire to connect with the past. Rose's desire to modernize the house, on the other hand, reflects a disregard for history and a focus on the present. She wants to impose her own modern aesthetic on the property, erasing its historical character in the process. This highlights the tension between tradition and innovation and the importance of finding a balance between the two. The story also explores the theme of identity. Willow's dream house reflects her personal identity, her values, and her aspirations. It's a place where she can be herself, surrounded by things that she loves. Rose's desire to transform the house reflects her desire to create a new identity for herself, one that is based on success, status, and external validation. The garden that Willow creates becomes a metaphor for her inner life. It's a place of beauty, tranquility, and growth, reflecting her personal journey and her commitment to nurturing her own well-being. The garden is a sanctuary, a place where she can connect with nature and find solace from the stresses of everyday life. The kitchen, where Willow enjoys baking and entertaining, becomes a symbol of connection and community. It's a place where she can share her love of food with others, creating memories and building relationships. The kitchen is a hub of activity, a place where people come together to share laughter, stories, and good food. The reading nook, filled with Willow's favorite books, becomes a symbol of knowledge, imagination, and personal growth. It's a place where she can escape into other worlds, learn new things, and expand her horizons. The reading nook is a sanctuary for her mind, a place where she can cultivate her intellect and nourish her soul. The story also explores the theme of forgiveness. While the sisters' relationship remains strained for some time, there is an underlying sense that they will eventually find a way to forgive each other. Forgiveness is essential for healing wounds and rebuilding relationships, but it's not always easy. It requires empathy, understanding, and a willingness to let go of the past. The story concludes with a sense of hope, suggesting that even the most strained relationships can be repaired with time, effort, and a willingness to forgive. It reminds us that family is important and that we should cherish our relationships with our siblings, even when they are challenging. Have you ever held onto a secret that you knew could change everything? Willow's silence about the historic district regulations was a calculated risk, a gamble that ultimately paid off. But was it the right thing to do? The story forces us to confront the ethical dilemmas that arise when pursuing our goals and to consider the consequences of our actions. The power dynamic between the sisters is a recurring theme throughout the story. Rose, with her financial resources and her parents' support, initially holds the upper hand. But Willow, with her knowledge and her strategic thinking, ultimately gains the advantage. This highlights the idea that power can come in many forms, and that it's not always about money or status. The story also explores the theme of resilience. Willow's ability to bounce back from the disappointment of losing her dream home demonstrates her resilience and her determination to achieve her goals. She doesn't give up. Instead, she finds a way to overcome the obstacles in her path. This highlights the importance of perseverance and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Rose's inability to adapt to the historic district regulations, on the other hand, reflects a lack of resilience and a tendency to give up when things get difficult. She's accustomed to getting her way, and she's not prepared to deal with setbacks or challenges. This highlights the importance of developing resilience and the ability to cope with adversity. The story also touches on the theme of social class. Rose's wealth and her privileged upbringing give her access to opportunities that are not available to Willow. This highlights the inequalities that exist in society and the challenges that people from less privileged backgrounds face when trying to achieve their goals. Willow's success in reclaiming her dream home, despite her limited resources, is a testament to her hard work, her determination, and her ability to overcome adversity. It's an inspiring story that demonstrates that anything is possible with enough dedication and perseverance. The story also explores the theme of envy. Rose's envy of Willow's simple yet fulfilling life drives her desire to possess the house. She can't understand why Willow is content with so little, and she wants to take away her happiness by taking away her dream home. This highlights the destructive nature of envy and the importance of appreciating what we have. Willow, on the other hand, doesn't envy Rose's wealth or her success. She's content with her own life, and she doesn't feel the need to compete with her sister. This highlights the importance of self-acceptance and the ability to find happiness in our own circumstances. The story also touches on the theme of consumerism. Rose's desire to acquire more possessions and to constantly upgrade her lifestyle reflects the consumerist values that are prevalent in modern society. She's driven by the need to impress others and to keep up with the latest trends. Willow's simple lifestyle, on the other hand, reflects a rejection of consumerism and a focus on experiences rather than possessions. She values relationships, personal growth, and the simple pleasures of life. This highlights the importance of finding a balance between material possessions and personal fulfillment. The story also explores the theme of tradition versus modernity. The historic district regulations represent a commitment to preserving tradition and protecting the historical character of the neighborhood. Rose's desire to modernize the house represents a rejection of tradition and a focus on the latest trends. Willow's approach to renovating the house reflects a balance between tradition and modernity. She respects the historical character of the house, but she also incorporates her own personal touch. This highlights the importance of finding a way to integrate the past with the present and to create a future that is both innovative and respectful of tradition. The story also touches on the theme of community. The historic district represents a community of people who are committed to preserving the historical character of their neighborhood. They work together to enforce the regulations and to ensure that the neighborhood remains a vibrant and welcoming place. Willow's involvement in the historic district reflects her commitment to community and her desire to contribute to the well-being of her neighborhood. She understands the importance of working together to achieve common goals and to create a better future for everyone. Rose's disregard for the historic district regulations, on the other hand, reflects a lack of commitment to community and a focus on her own personal interests. She doesn't care about the impact of her actions on others, and she's only concerned with getting what she wants. The story also explores the theme of personal responsibility. Willow takes responsibility for her own actions, even when they are ethically questionable. She understands that she is accountable for the consequences of her choices, and she's willing to accept the consequences, whatever they may be. Rose, on the other hand, avoids taking responsibility for her actions. She blames the historic district regulations for her problems, and she refuses to acknowledge her own role in the situation. This highlights the importance of taking responsibility for our own choices and of learning from our mistakes. The story also touches on the theme of karma. Willow's actions, while ethically questionable, ultimately lead to a positive outcome for her. She reclaims her dream home, and she learns a valuable lesson about sibling rivalry and the importance of knowledge. Rose's actions, on the other hand, lead to a negative outcome for her. She loses money, she damages her relationship with her sister, and she learns a harsh lesson about the importance of due diligence. This highlights the idea that our actions have consequences and that we will eventually reap what we sow. The story concludes with a sense of balance, suggesting that good and bad deeds will eventually be rewarded or punished. It reminds us that we should strive to live ethically and to treat others with respect, even when it's difficult. Have you ever considered how much your childhood experiences shape your adult life? The sibling rivalry between Willow and Rose is rooted in their childhood dynamics, their parents' favoritism, and their individual personalities. The story suggests that the allure of possession often blinds us to the true essence of what we seek. We chase after tangible objects, believing they hold the key to happiness, validation, or even superiority. We become consumed by the desire to acquire, to own, to control, often at the expense of our own values and the well-being of others. This relentless pursuit can lead us down paths of deceit, manipulation, and ultimately profound disappointment. Consider the tale of two siblings, driven by contrasting desires and fueled by a long-standing rivalry. One, seemingly blessed with an innate ability to achieve material success, viewed the world as a playing field where dominance was the ultimate prize. The other, content with a simpler life dedicated to service and personal fulfillment, found herself constantly measured against her siblings' accomplishments. The acquisition of a coveted object, a symbol of status and achievement, became the focal point of their conflict, exposing the deep-seated insecurities and unresolved issues that lay beneath the surface. The object itself, a dwelling steeped in history and character, represented more than just bricks and mortar. It was a canvas upon which dreams were painted, a sanctuary where memories were forged, and a reflection of one's identity. For one sibling, it was a trophy to be displayed, a testament to her ambition, and a means of solidifying her position in the social hierarchy. For the other, it was a haven, a place to nurture her passions, connect with her community, and find solace in the simple rhythms of life. The act of acquiring the dwelling became a a test of wills, and a manifestation of the power dynamics that had defined their relationship for years. One sibling, accustomed to getting her way, used her resources and influence to snatch the object from the other's grasp, seemingly without regard for the emotional toll it would take. The other, initially devastated by the loss, refused to succumb to bitterness, and instead sought a more subtle, strategic path to reclaiming what was rightfully hers. In her haste to possess the dwelling, the first sibling overlooked a crucial detail, a hidden constraint that would ultimately undermine her plans. The dwelling was subject to strict regulations, designed to preserve its historical integrity and protect it from insensitive alterations. These regulations, initially perceived as a mere inconvenience, soon became an insurmountable obstacle, thwarting her attempts to modernize and transform the dwelling into a reflection of her own superficial values. Meanwhile, the second sibling, armed with patience and a deep understanding of the dwelling's true character, recognized the potential for these regulations to become her greatest ally. She allowed her sibling to proceed with her ill-conceived plans, knowing that the inevitable clash with the historical preservation authorities would ultimately lead to her downfall. The story serves as a potent reminder that true fulfillment cannot be found in the acquisition of material possessions or the pursuit of superficial status. It is a testament to the enduring power of integrity, patience, and a deep understanding of one's own values. The dwelling, in the end, found its rightful owner, someone who appreciated its history, respected its character, and embraced its inherent limitations. The first sibling, despite her initial victory, was left with nothing but a hollow shell, a constant reminder of her own misguided priorities. Consider the broader implications of this narrative. How often do we find ourselves caught up in the relentless pursuit of material wealth, status, and power? How often do we sacrifice our values, compromise our integrity, and disregard the needs of others in our quest for these elusive goals? And what is the ultimate cost of this relentless pursuit? Perhaps the most valuable lesson to be learned from this story is the importance of self-awareness. Understanding our own motivations, recognizing our own insecurities, and aligning our actions with our core values are essential steps in avoiding the pitfalls of materialism and the destructive cycle of competition. When we are grounded in a strong sense of self, we are less likely to be swayed by the allure of external validation and more likely to find true fulfillment in the simple joys of life. Furthermore, the story highlights the importance of respecting the inherent value of things, whether they be objects, relationships, or even our own selves. When we treat others with kindness, compassion, and respect, we create a ripple effect of positivity that enriches our own lives and the lives of those around us. When we appreciate the beauty and history of the world around us, we cultivate a sense of gratitude and connection that transcends the superficial allure of material possessions. In the end, the story of the two siblings is not just about a dwelling. It is about the choices we make, the values we embrace, and the legacy we leave behind. It is a reminder that true success is not measured by the accumulation of wealth or the attainment of status,